doing the workout, and man, are my shoulders sore. I'm dying. The cage press to the laterals to the front plate raise. I'm hurting. Um, it's funny because I always say that it's so easy to become complacent, and I think that a lot of the time I do become complacent. But since I started doing these challenges with you guys, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't do the first couple with you guys, but the last two I have been, and I've actually made uh, some pretty good progress doing it myself. It's so easy to kind of get into that routine when you get to the gym and you just go through the motions, and then that's where you get stagnant, and then you don't see any change, and of course you kind of become turned off, and it's kind of a vicious cycle. So it's been really good. I'm definitely sore. I'm definitely feeling it. I did my workout, and then of course I was talking about, hey guys, give me like 10 minutes. Dogs. I did my cardio after, and I welled on the bag. Did 2 minutes on, 1 minute off for about 35 minutes, which was awesome. And man, am I hurting now? So I've got a ton of work ahead of me. Just creating some programs, of course, creating the new programs for you guys and for myself, and just doing some other client stuff. So it's going to be a pretty busy weekend. And I am actually going to be doing a challenge for you guys where you're going to get the opportunity to win some cool stuff. I'll announce that either Sunday or Monday. But I wanted to do a little mini challenge for this weekend. Um, and it's a little bit of a different mini challenge. And it's not really for that much money, but it's the thought that counts. I'm going to put up a $20 card, and I'll draw that, just a $20 card off of your next challenge or personal training or whatever you have on the site. So it'll just be 20 bucks, and it's kind of it's a different challenge. I'm going to do the challenge with you, but I kind of say this all the time. Anti-hero fitness is about more than just getting jacked and staying in shape. It's just about being better all around. So your challenge for Saturday, Sunday, guys, and all you have to do is just say a little post in the group. You don't even have to tell me what you did. Just say, Matt, I did the challenge. And of course, don't lie to me because this challenge is going to be good for you. But just let me know you did the challenge, and then on Sunday I'm going to do a little draw. And I'm also going to announce a bigger challenge for something a lot cooler. But it'll be $20, a $20 coupon off either services on the site or your next challenge. And all you have to do is for 1 hour this weekend, you have to carve out one single hour. You have to turn your cell phone off. You just have to go and hang out with your family or your friends or your significant other, whoever that might be. And just spend an hour, no phones, just enjoying. Whether that's something simple like going for a walk in the park, or whether it's dinner. And I don't want you taking out your phone and taking pictures. I might go to the same thing, but I'll probably bring the drone. I think take sending the dogs down to the beach for a sunset. We've been doing a lot of that lately. It's about balance. Like you could be in as good a shape as you want, but if you don't take the time to nurture the other things in your life, whether that's your brain or whether that's um, creative pursuits, if you're a painter or a writer or whatever it might be, if you don't take the time to nurture everything, then getting in great shape is just a waste. So I'm gonna have some other challenges like that, but this one is just go out, spend 1 hour, no cell phones, no BS. Go hang out with your girlfriend or your dog or your family or your kids, and just relax and turn off the cell phones and just enjoy. So that's the mini challenge. I'm gonna have an actual fitness challenge for you guys coming up right away. But I wanted to drop that off to you, and whoever just does a little post is going to be entered into a draw to win 20 bucks off of whether it's the next challenge or coaching or whatever it might be. So I had a pretty interesting email today, and I won't tell you who it's from, but it brings up a pretty good point that I want to talk to you guys about. Um, I'm not gonna call you out if you want to identify yourself, no problem. And it's not the first time I've heard the question, which is why I want to talk about it. I'm gonna get serious with you guys. I'm gonna get real with you guys. I want to talk to you guys about the silent killer. I want to talk to you guys about protein farts. Says over there laughing. All right, no, seriously, let's talk about it, guys. Right? You're eating a high protein diet, and sometimes you get gassy, and that gas can generally be attributed to a few different things. But what that gas is actually typically attributed to is a higher concentration of bad bacteria inside of your digestive tract over top of good bacteria, which tends to rot the food or it doesn't digest properly, and it smells bad, right? I mean, every man has to fart. It happens. It's natural. We're talking about it. It's out there. Is Professor okay? Cat's screaming outside. Every man has to fart. Sometimes the high protein diet definitely increases that fart. There's total pandemonium here. But there's a couple of things you can do about it, and that's one thing that I talked to this person today. And I kind of, it's kind of an off-topic, off-color kind of type thing, but I thought it was relevant. There's a couple of things that you can do to stop. I can't stop you from farting. I can't do that, but I can give you some suggestions to make them less stinky. Sandy's making fun of me here.
Like Satan can stop you.
Yeah, that's another interesting thing. I'm not a vegan. I will never be a vegan, um, but I would definitely move to something that was more ethically produced. If they could, I mean, they're in the process of making a kind of like it's like a genetically created chicken fiber that doesn't. It's never been sentient. It's never had any life. I'd be interested in doing that for sure. But I have been eating a lot of vegan food lately, and Senya's a hell of a cook. And it was funny because Sean wanted Satan. Sean did the last challenge as a vegan, and he kept talking about Satan, and I put it into his diet. And it's not Satan, Satan. It's S Seiten or something like that. Anyway, it's basically like a wheat gluten protein, and the stuff that Senya's making is absolutely freaking phenomenal. It's just it takes a lot of effort to make. It takes a lot of effort to make. I'll be honest with you. If there ever comes the time where I have somebody to do cooking for us full time and we're sitting pretty, I would definitely consider reducing the amount of meat that I consumed. It's been absolutely phenomenal. The veggie burgers. I never really. It's funny because I'm a very kind of uh, red collar kind of. I grew up in construction and commercial diving and carpentry, and I was a scaffolder in the oil field before I got into safety, and like very kind of, I guess you'd consider them very like traditional, manly roles. But I've been eating a lot of vegan food lately, and it is freaking phenomenal. So make sure you expand your palate. If you live in Edmonton, for example, there's a couple of really good vegan restaurants. But if you've never had vegan food before, I implore you to go out and give it a shot because it's absolutely blowing my mind. And the fact that Senya's a really good cook helps, but I'm really surprised at how tasteful dishes can be with that kind of flavor. And if we can, I mean, Senya's getting really good at it. If we could just mess around with the nutrients, I would actually consider reducing the amount of meat that I'm eating while replacing it with other protein content. Anyway, as usual, I digress. So probiotics and protein farts. Let's get back to that. I apologize. A couple of things that you can do. One thing which is highly recommended is if you want to change the type of bacteria in your stomach to get more of the good bacteria, I want you guys to consider taking a probiotic supplement. Now, Denon makes a little probiotic yogurt that you can pick up in the yogurt aisle. It's got a little bit of sugar in it. It's got some carbs. You'd have to put it in your diet, but it's really good. There's also lots of supplements that you get, probiotic supplements that you can get right from any supplement nutrition store. Greek yogurt as well is pretty high in probiotics, but if you find that you're maybe not smelling the best, that's one suggestion that I would really, really say that you should consider. Sorry, I'm tongue-tied. I'm normally not tongue-tied. But probiotics are going to help reduce the essence of your protein farts. Another thing that you can do as well, because sometimes the issues caused by digestion, is grab one of these things, PhD. This one's called Pharmagreens, but you can get different green supplements as well. And adding that to your diet is actually going to increase your digestion because it's got a lot of phytonutrients and a lot of really, really good things the body typically lacks. That's actually going to help your pH in your body and is going to help you digest food a little bit better. And it's probably going to make you a little bit less stinkier. So that's another one to consider as well. This is PhD Pharmagreens, but anything works. So those two things will help you with your protein farts. And it happens. It's a real thing. We're eating a high protein diet here, so it's something we've got to talk about. The last thing I wanted to talk about for today, because I don't want to make another 20-minute video, is I've been talking about macronutrients for the last while. I still have to do protein. but I wanted to switch off on a different foot because I wanted to take the time to speak about some of these micronutrients that we've been talking about because a lot of them are really valid. Now it's funny because um, I often talk about taking a vitamin, but I'm also very, I'm just kind of scanning for something right now, excuse me. I'm also very realistic, and certain supplements work, certain supplements kind of work. Vitamins are one of those supplements that kind of works. Just give me 1 second. I'll pop right back. And allow me to explain that a little bit better. When I say that vitamins kind of work, I mean they kind of work. Like you're not getting 100% absorption with your vitamins. I highly suggest these. Once again, no affiliation. Allmax VitaStack has got everything in there from cardiovascular health to brain health to digestive enzymes to absolutely everything under the sun, to joint health, joint protection, ginkgo biloba for the brain. There's nothing it doesn't have. It's really, really good. But every time I eat those packages, am I absorbing 100% of those vitamins? I don't think I am. And the reason that I don't think I am is that typically vitamins need digestive enzymes to be able to absorb. And you get good absorption when you have a good macronutrient profile. It's accompanied by proper carbohydrates and protein. You just get a better absorption from natural food. So when I eat that pack, I think even if I were to say that I'm going to absorb 50% and utilize 50% of those nutrients, I think I'm probably lying to myself because they're not in their natural state. They're not as easily digested. But is 40% or 30% of vitamins better than nothing? I'm going to have to say absolutely. In order to get all the vitamins that I would get, even from the vitamins that I absorbed in that single package, which even if hypothetically speaking it was 30%, it really depends on genetic makeup and a ton of other factors. Um, in order to get that 30% of those vitamins that I'm absorbing, I would have to eat an insane amount of food with a large amount of variance. So I do think that vitamins help. I think that they're good to have in your back pocket. And I would suggest getting a vitamin. And I would suggest getting a vitamin because it's got a lot of these micronutrients that we're talking about. One of the ones I want to talk to you guys about today is actually kind of interesting to me, and that is called iodine. And I'm sure you guys have heard of iodine. And iodine was kind of a hot topic in the early 1900s. Sorry, guys, I'm just pounding water. I just got back from the workout and I'm still sweating. Iodine is a micronutrient, and it's a really interesting and really, really important micronutrient that you need in your diet. And why do you need it in your diet? You need it in your diet because, interestingly enough, iodine is actually responsible for telling your system to create thyroid hormones. And what are thyroid hormones? You've heard of people with an underactive or an overactive thyroid. Thyroid hormones are basically the hormones that regulate your metabolism, tell you how many calories to burn. So people with a slower thyroid tend to burn calories slower and tend to put on weight a lot easier. People with an extremely high metabolism or a very active thyroid, and in some cases hyperthyroidism, burn a very large amount of calories. But iodine was actually it was found in the early 1900s. I believe it was around 1923, 1924. I have it written in front of me. I'm not going to lie to you. Was actually started to add to salt because people realized that deficiencies were creating one problem in particular that was actually very noticeable aside from the intrinsic effects, and that was actually people were getting goiters because their thyroid was actually swelling up considerably because it had to work so hard because they were deficient in iodine. That's one of the effects that can happen when you're deficient in iodine. Your thyroid will literally begin to work harder and it will begin to grow, and it actually becomes a goiter on your neck. So, and your metabolism slows down, you put on a ton of weight. So, iodine was added in 1924 in a large way to salt, which has greatly reduced the issue with people having large size goiters. But it's something that you do need, and it's something that nobody really talks about. But it's an important micronutrient. I believe for males, and I have it written down here as well, I believe it's 150 milligrams a day, micrograms of iodine. Adults, 150 mcg, so micrograms. Pregnant women actually need 200 micrograms, and breastfeeding women need 200 micrograms. And you're probably saying, well, why do they need so much iodine? Because interestingly enough, iodine is also linked to developmental capacity in children. So as a nursing mother, you need at least 200 milligrams. You need more iodine. And if you don't have iodine, it can contribute to birth defects in your child, which is why when your wife is pregnant, it's really important that she's getting her vitamins, she's getting her minerals, and she's getting her ice cream so she doesn't tear your head off. Not that I know yet, but I'm sure at some point I will. So I wanted to talk to you guys about iodine. It's good to know what these things are. It's good to get comfortable with them. I do recommend taking a multivitamin. Once again, it's one of those supplements that is not the most efficient, but is 30% of something better than 0% of nothing. In my personal opinion, it is. But it's not the end all be all. You want to get as much from healthy food sources and natural food sources because you're going to get better absorption. But try getting absolutely all of your nutrients and macronutrients and micronutrients from food. And you're going to be eating a lot of food and you're probably going to be pretty overweight. So that's all I have for you guys tonight. Hope you guys are having an awesome night. We are 2 days away from check-ins. You guys killed the last check-in. Uh, that was the best first week I've ever had, hands down, just in terms of consistency and in terms of results, and everybody doing really well. So give yourselves a pat in the back for that. I hope you guys have an awesome night. It turned into a 20-minute video anyway. I apologize, but I will talk to you tomorrow. Keep working out hard, guys. Tomorrow is Saturday, so it's going to be the depletion day. I'm also going to have a little jiu-jitsu class later. This black guy is finally healing up, so thankfully, and we'll go from there. Hope you guys have an awesome night. We'll see you soon.